Welcome to the May 9th meeting of the Township Council. Ms. Marsh?
In accordance with the requirements of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting was included in the annual meeting notice, which was filed in the office of the Township Clerk, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, published as a legal notice in the Suburban Trends newspaper, and distributed to all persons requesting notice in accordance with Township policy.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a prayer and a moment of thanks for individuals serving our nation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Most gracious Providence, we ask that you bless this governing body with an abundance of wisdom and understanding so that every deliberation will result in actions which will promote the common good and the general welfare for all the people of Pequannock Township. Amen.
Okay, can I ask the clerk to please call the roll?
Mr. Hurd?
Here.
Mr. Cole?
Here.
Mr. Phelan?
Here.
Ms. Winterfield? Here. Mayor Florence Lynch?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. The first item on the agenda is presentations tonight. So I'm going to ask everyone up here to join me down below, the manager and council, and Bob, if you'd like to come down. Come on down.
Okay, our presentation tonight is to honor our police department. So I am going to ask our police department.
Stay on camera.
I'm going to tell you in a minute. Our presentation tonight is for declaring May 14th through May 20th as Police Week in Pequannock Township. Many of you might know that all across the country, communities are recognizing Police Week for past and present officers who give so much of themselves and their dedication to the communities. But before I read the proclamation dedicating Pequannock Township Police Week, I'm going to ask Grace Nelson to come up. She's the girl in charge of this, of doing this. So I'm going to ask Grace, and if her mom wants to go,
Mom's putting her on the spot, you know.
No, but this was just an amazing story. So Grace is in the 7th grade, and she's a cadet Girl Scout. She's working on her Silver Award, which, as many of you know, is the highest award that a cadet can earn. So she's in the middle of her project. The project that she has chosen is to raise awareness for the Pequannock Police Department and its relationship with the community, okay? Now, her dad is Detective Sergeant Kevin Nelson, who's here with us. And I just thought how fitting of a project. She found a project that was near and dear to her heart, that was great for the community, and is raising awareness and educating people. So I sat with Grace a few weeks ago to learn about her project, and I was very impressed with her organization and her ideas and what she wanted to do. So I'm going to ask Grace to tell us a little bit about it, but one of the things she did was she coordinated an open house that's going to happen during Police Week, which is from, May 17th. You're having it right behind here, Town Hall. She helped coordinate that, and that's from 4:30 to 6:30 in the back parking lot. And why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going to happen at the open house and a little bit about your project?
At the open house, anyone can come and see tours of the police cars, and the K9 Gemma is going to be there. And we're also going to be handing out blue ribbons and blue light bulbs in support of police.
Possibly. That's very little. Now, one of the other things Grace did, tell me a little bit about the pictures that you're doing.
There used to be a picture board across from the police desk, and it got taken taken down, so I'm redoing it and taking everyone's pictures so that I can hang it for them.
Okay.
Not the most wanted.
Yeah, so there's, right. Go ahead,
We found some historical pictures, some old pictures of the of town, of old police cars, of old members of the police department. Some will be kind of suitable for framing, so we're gonna try to make, I don't know if a shadow box is the right way to put it, but a little, a small historical display that we can put up near the dispatch desk too.
So you have a picture of Brian when he was 20?
There's still black and white historical. Brian's first ID was with the camera with the big.
There you go.
So I hope everyone comes to the event back in the town hall parking lot on that day. So, and to give you a little background about our police department, I'm sure most of you know, but there are 32 sworn officers in our department, 4 full-time dispatchers, there's a full-time admin, and the department is broken up into 4 divisions, the patrol, detective bureau, and then the community services and traffic bureau together, and the administrative bureau. But we do have the best department. We all know we have the best department led by Chief Spring. You know, we always hear nothing but the best about our police department. You're all professional. You're all do everything you can for the community. You're really in tune with the residents. And we can't thank you enough. As Rich has mentioned, at past meetings, we all listen to the calls. We all see what you guys are doing out in the community. And I was honored to sit with Grace, hear what she was doing, and we would like to declare Police Week here in Pequannock Township. So, with that being said, I'm going to read the proclamation, which is officially going to be read into the record, proclaiming the Township of Pequannock Police Department Police Week. So, whereas the Congress and President of the United States have designated May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the week in which it falls as Police Week. And whereas the International Association of Chiefs of Police has declared law enforcement, officer safety, and wellness a top priority, and the IACP Center for Officer Safety and Wellness promotes the importance of individual, agency, family, and community safety and wellness awareness. And whereas the members of law enforcement agencies of Pequannock Township play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the citizens of Pequannock Township. And whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the problems, duties, and responsibilities of their police department, and that members of our police department recognize their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, by protecting them against violence or disorder, and or protecting the innocent against deception, and the weak against oppression of intimidation. And whereas the Pequannock Township Police Department has grown to be a modern and scientific law enforcement agency which unceasingly provides vital public service. Now, therefore, Mayor Melissa Florence Lynch and members of the Township Council do hereby call upon all patriotic, civil, and educational organizations to observe the week of May 14th through May 20th, 2017 as Police Week with appropriate ceremonies in which all of our people may join in commemorating police officers, past and present, who by their faithful and loyal devotion to their responsibilities have rendered a dedicated service to their communities, and in doing so have established for themselves an inviolable and enduring reputation for preserving the rights and security of all citizens. And further, the citizens of Pequannock Township are called upon to observe May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day to honor those peace officers who, through their courageous deeds, have lost their lives or have become disabled in the performance of duty. So, thank you. Thank you for all you do. We are all very proud of our police department. Thank you. Did anybody want pictures or anything?
You will do one. That's okay.
Okay.
Stand on the-
All right, there you guys are. I'm done. See if you can get everybody.
Thank you very much.
You can skip out to the Little League games.
Oh, really?
Thank you.
Thank you for all you're doing. It's a tough read. That was the first time I've had. That's a tough read. Not me. Okay. All right, thank you all. That was great. All right, next is reports from volunteers. So I'm going to ask if there's anybody in the audience that would like to report on any of the community services. Louise, did you have anything tonight?
That's why I'm standing.
Okay, that's what I figured. You were the only one, so I'm like,
You see me standing, changing seats to get closer to all of you. Hi, Louise Marchese, 16 Rowan Road. Okay, as far as the flood committee, I gave my report at the last meeting here about the flood event and how well it went. Economic Development will be meeting, Economic Development met on April the 26th. Flood will be meeting this week. I want to speak about EDC. We are continuing to explore all avenues that will result in the growing and expanding businesses in town. To our knowledge, the castle should be opening this fall. We are hoping that a planner will be hired sometime in the future by the town. Speakers that were supposed to come to our meeting this month, unfortunately, were not able to make it, so we'll have those speakers next month. That's Mike Fabrizio and Kitty Dempsey. We're planning on having them at our next meeting. And they're from Pompton Lakes, and they'll speak to us about redevelopment and planning and like that. Okay, and that's all I have. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thanks, Louise. Anyone else? Committee report? Okay, great.
Dave Stapp, I'm the Vice President of the First Aid Squad, 749 Newark Pompton Turnpike in Pompton Plains, New Jersey. I wanted to, the police department just stepped out, but I did want to say thank you very much to them and publicly just thank you them for all that they do for the First Aid Squad. Every time we're on a call, they are there for us, making sure that the scene is safe, taking care of the patients. Again, like you said before, Melissa, acting very professionally and just a superb job. So I wanted to publicly get that on record.
Thank you, Dave. Anyone else? Okay. Next on the agenda is public comments. This public comment period will be limited to a total of 30 minutes. If there's a need for an additional period, that's reserved for later in the meeting. Individuals are asked to limit their questions and comments to 3 minutes. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address the council? Okay. All right. Moving on, next on the agenda is public hearings. I'm going to ask, this is public hearing on the 2017 municipal budget amendment. Mr. Holberg, do you have anything on this?
No, the amendment just clarified 2 lines that had been transposed in the original budget.
Okay. Is there a motion to open up the public hearing on the 2017 municipal budget amendment?
I'll make that motion.
Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. If anyone in the audience has any questions or comments on this budget amendment, please come to the microphone and identify yourself for the record. Anyone? Okay. Is there a motion to close the public hearing on the 2017 municipal budget?
I'll make that motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All right, can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Phelan?
Yes.
Ms. Winterfield?
Yes.
Mayor Florence Lynch?
Yes. All right, is there a motion to adopt Resolution 2017-97, which is amending the 2017 municipal budget?
I'll make that.
Whoa.
Nope?
Wait.
Am I in the wrong spot?
We have to do a resolution on that one? I'm sorry, maybe I'm confused.
Yes.
We do it by resolution.
Yeah.
The amendment and then the budget.
Okay, so that gets done under public hearings?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Phelan?
Yes.
Ms. Winterfield?
Yes.
Mayor Florence Lynch?
Yes. All right, next item on the agenda is R 2017-98, which is the adoption of the 2017 municipal budget. Ms. Marsh, can you read that?
For the record, this budget was approved for introduction on March 28, 2017. The public hearing was advertised for and held on April 25, 2017. Resolution 2017-97, amending the budget, was approved for introduction on April 25th, and a public hearing on the amendment was advertised for and held this evening, and the amendment adopted. The 2017 municipal budget, as amended, provides for $18,291,833 in revenues and appropriation, and authorizes $12,927,587 to be raised by taxes for support of the municipal budget, and is ready for adoption at this time.
Okay. Any comments? Mr. Holberg, did you have anything on this one?
Nothing further.
Okay, any comments from council?
Nope.
Can I have a motion to adopt the 2017 municipal budget, please?
I'll make a motion to adopt 2017-98, the municipal budget.
I'll second it.
Can we have roll call, please?
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Phelan?
Yes.
Ms. Winterfield?
Yes.
Mayor Florence Lynch?
Yes. All right, the next item on the agenda is our ordinances for introduction. Ms. Marsh, can I ask you to read the first ordinance, please?
First ordinance for this evening is ordinance number 2017-05, a bond ordinance providing for the elevation of flood-prone homes and the acquisition and installation of generators in and by the Township of Pequannock in the County of Morris, New Jersey, appropriating $5,500,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $5,500,000 in bonds or notes of the township to finance part of the cost thereof.
Okay, Mr. Holberg, can I ask you for any comments on this ordinance?
Yeah, this is similar to what we had done for the acquisition FEMA grants. It just provides us the method to spend money. Now that we've received the award, we need to actually appropriate the funds so that we have legal authority to spend money against it. So this ordinance will do that. It also provides us the ability to borrow temporarily to manage cash flow for essentially $5 million worth of projects that need to get done in the next 2 years. So to the extent necessary, we will borrow to manage cash flow, but we will be reimbursed from FEMA for the expenses that we incur.
Okay.
I'm sorry, the generators, what are the generators for?
There were 3 that were approved. High school, which is our shelter, one of the sewer lift stations, and an upgrade at DPW.
Okay, any other comments from any of the council members?
One other thing. So we're being reimbursed entirely, so $5,500,000.
No, not entirely. There is a non-federal share to each of these, but the homeowners for the elevation grant will be responsible for the non-federal share. The school board has agreed to pay for the non-federal share of the high school generator grant. So there really should be no cost to Pequannock Township taxpayers as a result of this. All of the shared costs have been identified where the costs are coming from, or who's going to pay them.
All right, thanks, Rich. Anyone else have anything?
No.
All right, is there a motion to introduce this ordinance on the first reading?
I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance 2017-05.
Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Phelan?
Yes.
Ms. Winterfield?
Yes.
Mayor Florence Lynch?
Yes. All right, thank you. The next ordinance for introduction is ordinance number 2017-06. Ms. Marsh, if you can read that.
This is an ordinance amending Chapter 64 of the revised general ordinances of the Township of Pequannock and repealing the 50% waiver of fees for floodplain mitigation elevations.
Okay, Mr. Holberg, did you have anything to add on this?
Yeah, just many years ago, I think it's about 4.5 now, we revised the construction ordinance to waive 50% of fees associated with elevations. At the time, we had kind of said that we would relook at this after the 3-year window for mandatory elevations was up. That window was extended and will close this year in 2017. So now we're going back to the original. We're actually revoking the 50% language.
And you're paying 100%.
So that people who apply after this becomes effective will go back to paying the full amount, which would include the 26 homes covered by the grant, because FEMA will be paying for those fees.
I got it.
All right, everybody got that? Any,
There was an incentive originally.
Yeah, it was for hardships.
Right.
Yeah. It's over.
all right, any comments from anyone else on that?
No.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a motion to introduce?
Go ahead, Brian.
I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance number 2017-06.
I'll second.
All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Phelan?
Yes.
Ms. Winterfield?
Yes.
Mayor Florence Lynch?
Yes. All right, next ordinance for introduction is ordinance number 2017-07. Ms. Marsh.
This is an ordinance amending Chapters 3 and 79 of the revised general ordinances of the Township of Pequannock and amending the fee for an application for public defender services.
Okay, Mr. Holberg, can I ask you?
This is really just to make our ordinance and our fee schedule consistent with state law. State law currently identifies up to $200 as the fee for public defender. Is still set by the court on case-by-case basis, but we're just changing language to be current.
What are we charging?
More normal.
Up to?
Well,
That's up to.
I think up to 50.
We've been charging, well, our ordinance said 50, but we've been charging 50 to 200. So this is to bring it in compliance with what we're actually doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
Anyone else from the council have any comments? No. Okay, is there a motion to introduce this ordinance on first reading?
I'll make a motion to introduce 2017-07.
And second?
I'll second.
All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Phelan?
Yes.
Ms. Winterfield?
Yes.
Mayor Florence Lynch?
Yes. All right, and our next ordinance for introduction is ordinance 2017-08. Ms. Marsh, can I ask you to read that ordinance?
Ordinance number 2017-08 is an ordinance appropriating $667,000 from the Capital Improvement Fund for various capital improvements in and by the Township of Pequannock in the County of Morris, New Jersey.
Okay, Mr. Holbrook, can I ask you to add something to that?
Yeah, this and the next two, the three of them make up our 2017 capital program with the budget adopted. Funds are now available to appropriate for the various capital projects which are listed in each of the ordinances. There should be no surprises. They come right out of the capital plan that was discussed as part of the budget.
Okay. Any comments on this ordinance from the council?
Well, I would just like to thank the council for all their support on 2017-08 for the improvements at Washington Park that includes the construction of the skate park. That's historic, and I just really want to thank everybody for their support on that. And I do have one question, Dave, about the benches and the bleachers. I just want to squash any rumors or anything about people saying that the bleachers that are there are going to go to the swim lanes at PV Park. Is that true?
I don't think so. The ones that we're replacing are in pretty bad shape.
Right.
We prioritize them so that the worst would be replaced. I can't imagine they have life anywhere else.
Yeah, and there's problems with them, I thought, being up to code, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know where that's coming from.
I have not heard that and don't know where it's coming from either.
Okay, all right. So I just wanted to make sure.
Is that a Facebook thing there, Pat?
No, it was an in-person. It was an in-person.
You know, everything's true on Facebook.
Yeah, no, this was an in-person during the BioBlitz. So, no, okay, thank you. All right, that's it.
Anyone else? Okay, is there a motion to introduce this ordinance on first reading?
I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance 2017-08 on first reading.
And how about a second?
I'll take a second on that.
And a roll call.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Phelan?
Yes.
Ms. Winterfield?
Yes.
Mayor Florence Lynch?
Yes. All right, next ordinance for introduction is ordinance number 2017-09. Ms. Marsh?
This is an ordinance providing for various capital improvements in and by the Township of Pequannock in the County of Morris, State of New Jersey, and appropriating the sum of $1,070,000 for the financing thereof.
Okay, and we already talked, you didn't have anything else to add to that? Any council members have anything?
Yes, I would like to thank the council for approving the budget for the capital improvement on Company 2's firehouse. There you go.
There you go.
Is that one, this one, or the other one?
No, you got the right one. You got the right one. At least you got the right one, right? Okay, is there a motion to introduce this ordinance
I'll
on
make a
first
motion
reading?
to introduce 2017-09.
I'll second.
All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Phelan?
Yes.
Ms. Winterfield?
Yes.
Mayor Florence Lynch?
Yes. Okay, and the next ordinance would be ordinance number 2017-10. Ms. Marsh?
Ordinance number 2017-10 is an ordinance appropriating $170,000 from the Water Capital Improvement Fund for various capital improvements for the water utility in and by the Township of Pequannock in the County of Morris, New Jersey.
All right, and nothing to add to this one either. We talked about it. Any council members have anything to add? No. All right, can I have a motion to introduce this ordinance on first reading?
I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance 2017-10.
Second.
Second it.
All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Phelan?
Yes.
Ms. Winterfield?
Yes.
Mayor Florence Lynch?
Yes. All right, the next, moving on after ordinances, we're going to go to resolutions for approval. We have, I think, four of them tonight. Ms. Marsh?
Beginning with Resolution R 2017-99, authorizing tax office refunds, overpayments, or cancellations. R 2017-100, authorizing the abatement of property maintenance violations at designated properties. 2017-101, approving the designated special event permit application for the Thunderbird Car Show. And R 2017-102, approving payment of the itemized claims as set forth on the May 4th, 2017 bill list.
All right, any comments from any council members on any of the four resolutions?
Yeah, just a quick question, Dave. Do we ever get our money on these?
Oh, yeah.
Because the bank owns it?
Yeah, by the time we get here, we normally know who we're billing.
The bank usually doesn't say anything.
And it becomes a lien.
It becomes a lien, so title can't be cleared until paid.
All right, any other comments? All right, can I have a motion to adopt these resolutions, please?
I'll make a motion to adopt 2017-99 through 102.
All right, and a second?
I'll second.
Okay, roll call.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Phelan?
Yes.
Ms. Winterfield?
Yes.
Mayor Florence Lynch?
Yes. Okay, and moving on, next we have, I think, 2 items for discussion this evening. One is the Morris County stigma-free resolution, and the other one is pipeline ordinance. So we did have some backup material on this. I don't know, Dave, if you, or who wants to?
For pipeline?
Yeah, well, I guess we should really start with the Morris County stigma-free. That one, we talked about doing the resolution. That was, we had gotten some direction also from the Morris County freeholders, along with the Morris County Department of Human Services, supporting the designation of stigma-free communities.
I'm in favor of it.
Is everyone in favor? Does anyone
Yeah, I'm
have
in favor.
questions or comments about it? So let's do that. I believe we're all in agreement on that.
Well, who's going to take the ball and run with that and see that we promote it? Is that the health department, Dave? They'll take that on to make sure that we do it justice?
Yeah, health, okay, I can do that.
But is that who it would be? Because I guess you would also,
Well, we just want to make sure we do it, we participate
Right, just because
properly.
we do a resolution,
Right.
and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
We'll be in contact with Newbridge.
right.
Kind of do it in a uniform way, yeah.
Municipal Alliance probably has some.
Yeah, the Municipal Alliance is involved.
There are a few towns that have stigma-free,
The
Yeah, they've
sign.
signed,
so
don't they?
this town is a stigma-free town.
Well, I was just going to say that we can
Maybe
probably
at the
install
entrances
those.
of town, maybe.
The parks or
Well, it's
the
good,
town.
too, that you promote it, so that it brings up conversation. Because that's the whole idea, is so that people talk about it and don't keep it in the dark.
It's all about awareness and education, so definitely the signs, maybe something on the websites, maybe something on Channel 77.
I think it's
You know, we'll put
like mental
a,
health.
we'll put a program together after passing the resolution that shows that we're in support. Okay.
Yeah, some kind of kickoff or something.
Anything else on that? I'm good? Okay. And I don't think any of the wording really needs to be, we'll
I think it's
work on that.
All right, for the next meeting?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, and
What is the pipeline?
the next one is the pipeline
I haven't heard about
ordinance.
this in a long time.
So we haven't talked about it in a while. I'm
No,
going to
it's been a
ask
while.
Dave to bring us up to speed on it and why we're doing it.
This has been kind of been batted back and forth. Council had asked that we look at it and do something. This is intended to provide some basic regulation over where pipelines could go, some basic setbacks. It does provide for consideration of a emergency response and some training. It is not the outright ban that, some organizations had come here and looked for council to kind of move forward. This is more along the lines of we want to acknowledge that it's potential and be able to deal with the realistic impacts to our community should someone come up and want to develop one of these here. So this is a draft. It's meant for your review, comment, input. It's developed by Jill in planning, and Joe has reviewed it. But obviously, there's more that could be added, or whatever, so.
I guess my first question would be, initially, various towns and groups came to us wanting us to do something about stopping the possibility of a pipeline, and I wanted to know how all the council members felt on that, and by doing this ordinance, is that in any way, is that kind of acknowledging that if it were to happen, that we are not against it and getting prepared for it?
Yeah, I understand the question. I don't think it's that. First of all, I think even the proponents, they would like to not see the pipeline go through, but they really were urging municipalities to put regulations in place, not outright bans. I think there's a recognition that an outright ban is just an invitation to be sued. So they have come up with ordinances that they promoted that they believed regulated pipelines in such a way that this particular pipeline that is proposed, it would be difficult to locate it. So I don't think they've actually asked us to do an ordinance that bans pipelines. They do have their own regulations. Some of this is somewhat similar to what's proposed. Some of it's unique and different in Jill's thought process. One of the things you can do is you can compare. In fact, we can pass out to you again the one that the proponents have put out, so you have an opportunity to look at what's been distributed and what this is, and kind of analyze the two next to each other. So I don't think this is like a blatant disagreement.
Well, I also noticed this has to do with whether it's an existing pipeline or a future pipeline. It's, an ordinance just regulating pipelines in general.
Yeah.
So, anyone else? Rich?
Well, I find the first line very interesting. The purpose of this ordinance is to the extent permitted by state and federal law. It's like, state says you can't do that, you can't do that. I think we should do something like this. I mean, I don't know how much it's really going to make any effect on anything, to the extent permitted by the state and federal government. But this is not coming out and saying, look, we don't want a pipe in our town. This is saying, look, if a pipe is built, you guys have to follow these rules. This is what we have. As long as you stay within the confines of this ordinance, we're okay with everything. So I would like to digest it for until next week.
And I like the idea of comparing it to the opponent's one, if we can get that distributed. Anyone else? Dave?
I like the idea of being able to compare. It's been a while since I've seen the other one, so I'd like to be able to compare them both, but I'm for it.
Kathy?
Yeah, I think it's responsible that we put something on the book sooner than later. This way it doesn't look like it's tied to anything specific. I think it's just responsible that we have something, especially because we do have existing pipelines too.
That's right.
We don't have people out here saying you have to, you have to, you have to. We're doing this because we think it's the right thing to do. Without outside interference.
Right, and like I said, we have existing pipelines as well. It's not just talking about one.
But I would like to read it and then maybe put it back on the agenda for discussion, and then we can then do one. I think we should do one.
Have you heard anything, Bob, about the Pilgrim pipeline?
I've not heard a lot lately about where that sits. I think it's just going through the process. Dave's heard more now.
There's been no active chatter.
Okay. So
the price of oil is down, and there's a lot of reasons.
All right, so we'll digest this. You'll get the other one distributed to us, and we'll get it back on.
Do you want to put it on for the next meeting?
I would, otherwise I'll forget about it.
Yeah, and if people have questions in the meantime, we can just direct them to Dave before the next meeting, I guess, and then talk about it. Okay. What are we up to? All right, next is reports and notices. Are there, where are we? Oh, anything on the reports and notices that anyone has questions on?
No.
We had, one on the parade, and that was it? Is that the only one? Right, that was the only one? All right, and next on the agenda is reports and notices. I already said that, I apologize. Manager's report.
Okay, you have an updated project status report. Number 2, the addition to the library. The apparent low bidder was missing a couple items out of the bid package. Their response has been challenged by the second low bidder.
Okay.
We have reviewed and we concur that the low bidder is not responsive. Library is aware of this. So the process to kind of go through that is that the low bidder has an opportunity to be heard, correct?
Correct.
We need to notify them.
The lowest bidder has an opportunity.
So at the next meeting, they'll be invited to come if they want, but I think they understand that they're deficient. They didn't complete the bidder's checklist.
Yeah, it's one of those items that under the state law is very clear that if you miss it, we can't let you do it late and we have to.
Yeah,
So they've already been notified, they know.
It's nothing that can be
Corrected.
Yeah.
But they will be given that opportunity. Council will then reject the lowest bid and award to the lowest responsible bidder, which is bidder number 2. We do have a recommendation from the library to award. The architect,
Jim
Cutillo has reviewed them. So has Holly. So we're ready to award. We just need to go through that procedural part, which will occur next meeting.
That'll be next
So I
meeting.
just wanted to kind of let you know where we're at, so that when it comes up on the next agenda, you'll...
And it is going to be the resolution we're going to word a little different because it really is it's the library really awarding it and it's their recommendation. We're administering it for the library.
Right,
So the funds are coming from the library, but we're doing it here just administratively, so it's appropriate that we do the resolution making the award. So it'll read really that we're just confirming the library
Well,
board's
it's our
award.
asset, right?
The building is owned by us.
It's our asset.
Yeah, it's
Right.
their
Yeah.
budgeted funds, but it's our building that it's
Right.
being put on, so we're awarding it, correct.
And I know we were a little worried whether it was going to come in where we needed it to. I think we were okay with that, within
The
reason.
library has identified the fact that they have sufficient funds.
Right.
So,
So that's
taking their word.
Please, no wall pictures.
very good.
And then number 3, just a series of upcoming events and dates. That's all.
Okay, great. All right, if there's no questions for Dave, Ryan, can I ask for your report?
Sure. Senior Committee, we did not have our meeting this month. I have nothing to report on that. Open Space, bunch of interesting things. I do have a question as far as maintenance of our trails. Do we have I don't want to say a big weed whacker, but one of the weed hogs? Does DPW have any of those? I know we've rented it a couple of times.
Not that we own. We don't use enough to...
And then that was going to be the next question. Does it make sense? Because we do have Aquatic Park, we have Riverwalk, does it make sense that we're going to invest going long form, or just, does it make more sense just to keep renting when we need?
Well, it depends on what the ultimate use and intent of the path is. Like, the paths in Mountainside Park, we have a relationship with New Jersey Trail Commission. They really maintain them. Once a trail is blazed and it gets some use, it really shouldn't need a lot of maintenance. I mean, you want it to be, especially Aquatic Park, and I would think the Riverwalk, you want it to be kind of a natural setting, so it shouldn't be something that requires a lot of maintenance.
Is there any, that goes into another question with Morris County parks. They were talking about, they have a CNC machine that can make plaques, like all the park commissions have, green with white writing and stuff like that. Is that something that we can look into for our parks? Because there's ideas of, even on the park paths, for identification or identification of trees or anything like that. Is that something that we can talk to Morris County about?
We talked to the county. Again, we already have a relationship with the Trail Commission, so if there's additional areas we want them to blaze or maintain, they'd be my first.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a great idea. We need to work on that. Other than that, we still have an update on the rail trail. It's still supposed to be opening. I'm very excited for it. I can't wait to run down it.
Is there any, because that one, what was that one gentleman's name was supposed to get with you? And, wasn't he supposed to, did he ever give you an official update other than what we heard and what we're keep reporting?
I talk to Jerry all the time. He's
I know,
reluctant to give any official update because...
When I called him, he made it sound like he was going to
happen in the future.
He made it sound like he was going to give you an official update, and I did have some people ask me that sit on the,
This has been an
I
ongoing
know.
issue for many, many,
But we're
many
close.
years.
We're very, very close.
It's still too far out.
We're close.
I did speak to him a couple months ago,
Yeah.
and, he was
Nothing
very
official.
encouraged by what was going on at the time, which,
So
for Jerry is good news. I mean,
So the trail is run by Morris County Parks, correct?
the project is being undertaken by the county as transportation, because it's transportation
But under the county.
grant, so that's where Jerry's involved.
Okay.
Once it's completed, it will be maintained by Morris County Parks.
You think they'll put
So-
garbage cans up it?
How dare you,
Hey, I have
Brian.
another thing.
Garbage cans.
Don't even talk about garbage.
So garbage cans, I've been getting a lot of questions since I'm out there.
Show 'em that memo.
Little League and everything else. I don't know what to do about it, but we do have at Hillview and at Washington Park, we are taking out the garbage cans and whatnot, but it is a mess. And I've been snapping pictures and sending it down to Health Department, just so you know. I don't know what the solution is. I don't know if more signs like we talked about 2 weeks ago. But as of right now, it's definitely not a success story. So if anybody on the council has any other ideas that we can...
Well, it's not feedback I'm getting from everywhere, so Peter has talked to leadership of the league, Little League. I think there's some miscommunication going on within Little League to some of the
I think we got that taken care of though now.
Let's give it another.
Some
give it
areas
another
seem to be going fine, other areas not so much. So,
It's education.
we commit to kind of let this ride for 6 months and do what we can to make it work.
Did it start January 6 months or?
With the opening of the parks this year, this season.
So it's been what, about 3?
Just please,
It's been long goal.
like everybody to please carry out and remember to bring bags.
Yeah.
We're going to need them.
No, I mean,
That's all I have.
I hear mixed as well. Some success stories and some not.
Change is
So
always
it
hard.
changes.
Change is hard.
Change is hard.
So we'll see. We'll see. Ryan, before I move on, Ryan, I had 2 quick things for you. You said seniors didn't meet this month. Just curious, how is that working? I know they started meeting at night. I don't know how many meetings they've had. Are the new people coming up with any
We've
new
had
ideas?
2. The chair, Darren and I spoke, and I think what we need to do is really get involved more with the seniors in town, because what's happening is you have Cedar Crest, which it's its own thing, and then you have Hurl Village, which is its own thing.
Right.
So they both have activities and stuff and all that, and then you have this pocket of seniors, everybody else in the town, that it's hard to get to. It's the same kind of issues that we had with flood, getting the word out, getting information to the people and getting them engaged. So we're trying to figure out what can we do to really help them, what are their true needs. So that's the mountain that we have to climb. We have to figure out how to get to the people and
I
really
forget, is there
understand
somebody somebody from Hurl is sitting on that, right?
Yes, somebody from Hurl is sitting on it,
And I don't know.
but we
about
still need to get to
the other.
the real people.
Okay, well, keep it up.
So that's what we're working on.
Yeah, good.
It's definitely not easy.
Yeah,
But
okay.
MAC meeting is also tomorrow.
Yeah, I was just going to say, are you going to be able to go to that meeting? That was
Yes.
my other thing for you. Good.
4:30.
All right, thank you. Rich, do you have anything?
Yes, I do, but let me just ask a question first. What time is our thing tomorrow?
2:30.
2:30. Where? Here or over there?
You can meet here, I can drive you over if you'd like.
You're a good driver?
Oh, boy.
I didn't know we set a date. Is this for the castle?
Yes, sir.
I didn't get anything. I don't think my email's working, honestly.
Yeah, I didn't get anything.
Really?
either.
I didn't get anything. You didn't get anything either, Ryan?
I didn't
Some of
get
us
anything,
already
no.
went.
No.
Okay, so,
You're going to have to do a third one. Well, you were going to do 3 anyway.
Rich, you can live stream it.
I could.
Facebook.
No, not Facebook. Everything's not.
So who's going tomorrow? Just Rich, or is Ryan going tomorrow?
So we as a group are not going to?
No, they were all
No, it's
separate.
2 at a time, right?
Dave and I already went.
Yeah.
It had to be broken up.
I think we need to find out what's wrong with our email, because I'm really getting concerned that I'm just not in the loop.
You got an email from me today.
Yeah, I did. I know, and I get from Carol. Wasn't getting Rich's emails. I get emails when people respond to all, then I finally see what's happening. So I don't know what I'm not getting.
Right.
You know, that I did not get. Now, Ryan, you didn't get it either, right?
I did not. I sent my response on what days I could do it, but that was...
That was the last we heard, right?
Yeah.
Mine's working.
Rich's.
Wait until you go. It's amazing, though. We got the tour.
I don't know what to say.
Okay, so I do have something to say.
Okay.
I got a notice in the mail yesterday about having my sump pump inspected.
Oh.
And I called today, and they came today.
Wow.
And it was absolutely painless.
Good.
So I tell everybody, or anybody who wants to listen, that, look, just call him, have him come in. Very nice guy comes and takes a look and checks me off, and away he goes. I mean, so it's not a very difficult inspection to...
Yeah, you would think everybody would just happily accommodate.
Right, so after he inspected it, then I said, oh, I helped write that ordinance, and he was like, oh, you did? I said, oh, yeah, I did. So again, I introduced myself, so forth. Company One had its company meeting, business meeting last Friday, where I find out one of my employees is not coming to work on the 19th, which I was quite surprised to hear. He knew, but I didn't know. But he told the fire company they wasn't going to work on the 19th. Company Two has their meeting this Thursday. Dave, I really need to get an answer or something. So that's it. That's all I have.
All right, thanks, Rich. Kathy?
We had our last Wednesday was the Historic Commission. They're getting ready for all the things that we have on the list here, the Memorial Day, the street fair, all that stuff. But one thing that Ed Engelbart, our township historian, is doing a Civil War cemetery tour on May 21st, and the proceeds are for the Historic Society for the Martin Berry House. If nobody's ever been on a tour with Ed in the cemetery, it is fairly intriguing. I would highly recommend it.
Does he talk a lot?
The whole time. So it's more. You'll get a whole lot more than Civil War. You'll get a whole lot of things. Also, they're planning on at Grace Chapel after the parade doing a World War I commemoration, because it's the 100-year anniversary of the U.S. entering into World War I 2017. So that's what the display will be. And I have my Environmental Commission tomorrow night.
Great. All right, Dave?
Fair Housing met on April 26th. Our new secretary, Evelyn, is doing a nice job with that. This past Wednesday, Melissa and I did tour the castle, and when it's finished, I think it's going to be tremendous. But hopefully it is finished by October, because I think that's when they have their first bookings. May 1st, Parks and Rec was the Parks and Rec meeting. PV Park opens May 27th. Please make sure you get your badges. I continue to report nothing new with the ad hoc committee for the community center. May 1st also, we met, the Senior Citizen of the Year Committee met to go through applications. The winner will be announced at the next council meeting. I thought it went very well. Melissa and I were there representing the council. I think that possibly if we maybe even stay with it the way it was this year, having council on it definitely was, I think, the right thing to do. Last night, the First Aid Squad met. I was not able to make it because I had a wake to go to, but Tom sent me some information. Pequannock High School student and emergency medical technician Kayla Taylor from the Monday night crew has been selected to receive a 200 Club of Morris County Scholarship. EMT Taylor will be attending college this fall for nursing. This is the second year in a row that Pequannock Township squad member has received the scholarship from the 200 Club. On Saturday, April 29th, members of the First Aid Squad, Fire Companies 1 and 2, Police Departments, and Emergency Management received training in management of search and rescue operations. This was an 8-hour course, and it was partially funded through Pequannock Rotary. The squad will be attending the high school crash reenactment on June 6th. 2 ambulances will be staffed by the squad for this event, and the squad is also accepting applications for membership. Please stop by any night at 7 p.m. for a tour and an application, or you can visit the Pequannock First Aid Squad at pequannockems.org. And May 29th is the Memorial Day Parade.
Great.
That's it.
So,
Thanks, Dave.
I'm sorry. So no issues then with the crash reenactment?
We got it all worked out?
I spoke to the principal at the high school, and she is unwilling to change her opinion on having fire members and first aid squad members that are in the high school. The Board of Ed president asked me after the principal spoke to me if there was any change. I said no, and I believe it now has been brought to the superintendent. So I don't know if there's going to be any changes.
Okay.
Okay.
Just curious.
Thank you for working on that, and we'll see how it goes this year. All right. That was one of my questions.
By the way, one of my employees will be at that crash reenactment.
Oh, that's why he's not coming to work. Just a couple quick comments I wanted to make. I went to the fishing contest, was it last weekend? At Woodland Lake. Great turnout. I got to commend our park ranger and Parks and Rec. They did a fabulous job running the fishing contest. They were engaging with the kids, and the kids had a great time. So, fun was had by all. What else? The only other thing I wanted to ask, actually, when I was at that fishing contest, somebody asked me about, I guess they had read our ordinance, and they asked about paddle boards on Woodland Lake. And before they went out and purchased one, they wondered if they can bring a paddleboard on Woodland Lake, if that is something that we would consider changing in our...
The only question that I have...
we say no paddleboard?
Well, no, it doesn't specify whether you can or can't. It was made before paddleboards came.
If you're paddleboarding, are you boating or are you swimming?
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, you're standing on it. Yeah.
Unless you fall.
Then you're swimming. The point being is there a change we can make to allow that, and where would it fall?
I was under the impression that anything that was on Woodland Lake had to be registered with the,
Well, theoretically, a kayak does not need to be registered.
Right.
Okay.
But they're clearly a boat. And we've had this conversation, and I don't know that I have a good answer to it.
Okay.
We don't allow swimming in Woodland it's not guarded. There are underwater hazards for people who are swimming there. So safety's an issue if you're not in a boat. It's not that we don't want to allow it. What happens when, you have to, most people start paddleboarding not on the board. You start by paddling. It's not uncommon to get wet while you're paddleboarding. So
I can see somebody getting hurt.
Yeah, I don't...
Yeah,
I think PV is a more appropriate place for it.
For paddleboarding?
Yeah.
Paddleboarding.
Paddleboard.
Yeah, probably.
but paddleboarding when people are swimming, isn't that dangerous in itself?
No, it's got to be in a certain area.
In a certain area. Okay.
Not that they're going to go very far with.
No, no, but I do understand the thought process. At first, it seemed to me like, oh, it's a no-brainer, but there are paddle boarders that probably are better paddle boarders than people in rowboats or whatever else. But
if they fall in and there's
but if they fall in,
you don't know what's under the water.
But there's a couple shallow areas that if you were to fall off, you'd probably injure yourself. There's concrete and other debris underneath.
Also, we were talking about the castle tour before. Weren't we going to take was there another tour that was going to happen with the Martin Berry House or no?
We were supposed to do it.
Weren't we supposed to do that at some point?
Yeah, we're going to do that at some point.
Is that something that someone can set up for us?
Right after
That's
the
Chris.
tours.
Chris will.
Right after
Okay.
the castle tour.
Yeah, after the castle tours. Let's set up
what time
the
is the
Martin
tour
Berry, because
tomorrow?
I was only in there
Were
once.
you meeting here?
What, Kathy, you want to go?
Yeah, maybe we'll call in sick or something.
There you go.
Just like my employees.
Just like your employees.
You guys want to visit the Henning House too, right?
Yeah, that'd be all right. Is
Maybe
it,
we can do a meeting like half an hour before regular meeting and visit the other two sites. Martin Berry and Henning.
Do something like that.
we could do that.
6.
Yeah.
When do you want to do that?
We'll set up for June.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, that's it on reports? Yep. All right, next on the agenda is public comment. If anyone wishes to address the council, please wait to be recognized, come to the microphone, and provide your name and address for the record. Anyone in the audience? Yes, come on up.
Stephen Connolly, 44 Duncan. I just want to thank you guys for developing Washington Park, which will include a skate park, funds toward a skate park. It just shows that you are thinking about the older kids in town, and it's just very important, and thank you.
That was lengthy.
Thank you. All right, anyone else from the audience? No? Okay. Next on the agenda is, I guess we have minutes to approve from April 11th. Are there any comments on the minutes? And if not, can I have a motion?
I'm sorry, I think that's my mistake. It's April 25th.
Right, it's April 25th. I'll make a motion.
I'll correct it on your...
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve April 25th minutes.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Opposed? Okay. Next on the agenda is closed session, and we have, I think, 2 things tonight, or just the one?
I'll make a motion to go and close.
Okay, second, all in favor? Aye. All right. At this time, we're going into closed session.